Bruchim Avraham, and thank you for joining us on our daily Zohar. Just want to remind you, for questions, requests, you can reach us as Rabbi Gaon at gmail.com, or you can also join us on Facebook at Yeshiva Etzion. That's Yeshiva Etzion on Facebook. We're going to talk a little bit today about faces. And we know that the face of a person, the physical person, are a part of the body that maybe are most connected with the soul of the person. You can tell a person's emotions and the state, and in some cultures you can even tell, even certain aspects of Western medicine, you're able to tell the condition of the person by his face, what's going on, if he has bags under the eyes, blacks under the eyes, certain changes in the eye, and so on and so forth. And this is a part of the body that turns towards the soul, to the neshama, and connects to the person. Also, the limbs of a person, ha'evarim, also could be identified in your face. It's very interesting. In Oriental medicine, you could look at the eye of the person, and I'm not an expert at that, but they look at the eye of the person, and they can tell which part of the eye associate with which limb, and if certain dots are there, they can tell you what's going on. They would check your tongue out to see what's going on with the person internally, and so on and so forth. And the way they do it is, it's a representation of the limbs as the soul would allow it to bring it out, directed from inside out, from the face, from the inside out, and the face is a reflection of what really is happening to you internally. We said already that the face one will be able to determine the state of mind of the person, the psyche of the person, if he's sad, if he's angry, if he's calm and happy, etc. In other words, hapnimiyut, the internal state of the person, would be reflected on his face. The face are therefore the instrument, the vehicle, which express the feeling of the soul inside of us. You should know that the word panim in Hebrew, pei, nun, yud, mem, also represent to, if you just change the punctuation, it's pnim, internal. Panim and pnim is the same thing. The panim, your face, would reflect your pnim, your inside. To our face had a different quality which does not exist today. So therefore, if I could today say, look at your face and say, what's the matter? You're a little down today? I said, no, I didn't sleep. Yeah, I can tell your eyes are a little baggy, and so on and so forth. Those days, in the ancient time, our face had a different ability than we have today. It was lost. And that is the something that happened at the time of Moshe, the time of Pinchas, is the ability to bring about a special light, special brightness out of the face, as it was to Moshe Rabbeinu, to the point that his face glowed in such light that you couldn't really look at him. Therefore, he had to cover his face. It was blinding, the light that came out of it. In other words, this light was not a light that we have today. It's a different light, but it was so bright. It's like the same thing if you would take, let's say, a mirror, and you'll capture the sun or a light source in the mirror to somebody's eye, you would not be able to look at it. The same thing happened to Moshe Rabbeinu. When the Shekhinah was resonate itself on the face of Pinchas, Chazal tell us his face would shine like bright lightnings. It was this flash of light. The same thing again, like a camera. Somebody flashes that. Moshe Rabbeinu was permanent. Pinchas was on and off. Wasn't like Moshe Rabbeinu. That brightness that comes from the face, what we call sever panim. Sever panim, have mekabel et kol adam besever panim yafot. Welcome anyone, kol adam, anyone, besever panim yafot. We translate it as nicely. Except, when somebody comes, welcome him nicely, with a smile on your face and so on and so forth. But let's look at the word sever panim. Sever mishum svara, lehasbir, to explain. Panim, internally. Show him, explain to him the happiness that you feel from the inside out. Welcome everybody, not only with a smile on your face, but really with sincerity inside. Sever panim, with light that will come out. When you see somebody that you care about a lot, or that you haven't seen for a long time, you feel like something is coming, there's some kind of a wave, and it shows on your face. Your eyes don't lie. You can lie with your lips. The eyes don't lie. I don't want to talk about micro expressions, but that's maybe the part of psychology that is closest to what we are talking about. This ability to be able to identify micro expressions, all these expressions that a person would do, not really being aware of. Okay. So have mekabel kol adam besever panim, with a sincerity inside. That sever panim, what we call sever panim, is basically the light of the neshama which comes out from inside of the person and is revealed in his face. If you want to see sometimes how ridiculous we look, take pictures of politicians during elections when they hold babies, and they hold the baby like they're holding a dirty diaper. Meanwhile, in the election or in a movie, it looks like they're smiling, but if you take a picture of it and just one frame, it looks like they don't really mean it. Not a lot of people really mean when they hold a baby like this. And guess what? The babies will feel it right away. Babies will be able to tell right away if a person is happy or a person is not happy. A baby does not look at all those things that we look at, all the external. Oh, he has nice hair, he has this, he has that. They look at they have the ability because they're not corrupted to really look at the inside. It's very hard to fake for a baby. And a baby knows right away if a person is a nice person or is not. You smile to a baby, he'll smile to you back. If you smile sincerely, he will smile back at you. We are just kind of conditioned. We see somebody smile, we smile as well. We smile to people who don't really mean it. So have mekabel kol adam besever panim. Sever panim is the light that would come, would shine from your soul and would reflect through your face, and that you really show what we say, your true colors. Therefore, a person that has the ability to, first of all, understand that, will be able, and we call it in Lashon HaKabbalah, chokhmat ha-partzuf, the wisdom of a face. Not like, for example, to say, oh, if you have this kind of eyebrows, that kind of eyebrows, to be able to be so keen, to be able to interpret exactly the state that you are, to know exactly what you're not saying. Because your words could be deceiving, and which most of the time they are. Your face don't lie. Your face don't lie. You're rolling your eyes. You're making certain faces. And, somebody talks to you. You make all kind of like gestures like this. If you come to analyze it, you're going to say, "Oh my goodness, the guy was really repulsed with what I said. I don't know what I said was so bad." And so on and so forth, right? Even to the point of where you lift your eyes one way to the other way. One day, one side you will be lying, one side you will be thinking. If you would look down, you'll be embarrassed. All those things, and on your face, those little things, that's how much the neshama comes out of you, and therefore becomes an expression. In a way, your facial expression is an expression of your state of your neshama as it is right now. The panim, the face, are a kli, as we said, which the neshama reveals and executes its feeling, but not all its feeling. In other words, there are inner lights that don't come out through to those facial expressions. They are much deeper inside of the person. When we compare between the physical man to the spiritual person, we would say that the body of the physical person, his body, his limbs are identical to that of the spiritual person. So therefore we would say that his neshama, in that case, should also be compatible with the neshama of that spiritual entity that you call yourself. This dualism, I wouldn't call it dualism because it's a loaded word, but those two entities of the physical person and the spiritual person share something in common. And these are those deep lights, those lights that don't come out. And as much as not all your feelings are shown by a spiritual person, by a physical person, those lights also don't come up always by a spiritual person as well. You need to be able to bring them about. Only small lights are shown. Only small lights are revealed to the people. And those lights are that's why it's also very difficult for us to understand how Kadosh Baruch Hu conducts His world. Those Orot Elyonim, the superior lights. These are all things that are there, that are connected, but we are not aware of them. For example, you are not aware right now on a regular basis on the whole apparatus that goes inside what you call your body. You're not aware of your liver working right now. You're not aware that your kidneys are functioning. You're not aware of anything else, of any metabolic process that happens in you. When do you feel it? When it's not working. God forbid, something in your kidneys, it hurts. But on regular, it just doesn't. Those things are hidden. The Ramchal explains to us the following. He says, "Ze haseder ma she'efshar latachtonim le'asig." Right? This is only what us in this world, what we were allowed to reveal. It's only what we could comprehend and understand. That we see only shitchiyut hashiur, only the surface of the conduct. When we feel our neshama, that's why many people don't feel spiritual at all. Because it is a disconnect between their expression. Everything else is mechanical, is not an expression of the inner, of the inside. The question should be asked, are you disconnected from your soul? Are you conditioned? For example, when you see somebody, go look on YouTube, all those pranks that people have, or all those things, which I really, again, I told you this a million times, I think they're very, very sad, they're very painful. You see a guy goes on a slide, falls down, bangs his head, flies to the other thing. I don't understand what's funny about it. And you really, if you think about it, if you come to think about it, it's really not funny. A guy goes on a rake and it goes boom into his face. Everybody, they're not laughing. Those who added those movies usually will put a section of artificial laughter in it. But it's not funny. And slowly, we become disconnected, and our expressions are not really a reflection of our neshama. And that's why we become more dull, and we can't connect with a person to the point that we even are afraid to look at somebody in the eye and say to him, "Good morning, how are you?" A stranger. Because you see yourself in that as well, because you feel the same way as that person right now looked at you. You feel empty, and that scares us. So instead of not doing anything about it, we just disconnect completely. And this is not something that it's so easy for us to understand. And it takes a lot of training on your behalf to do that. For example, you might have a tremendous painter or pianist or musician that wants to show his students how to really do it, to show them all the tricks, how to paint beautifully, how to play beautifully. He can't do it unless they're going to start doing their journey themselves. And one needs to know that not everybody is willing to accept that, because some of them will be willing to work harder. Only once you work harder and you committed yourself to that, then those words will mean anything. That's why most people that want to learn Kabbalah end up learning absolutely nothing, because the most important part of learning Kabbalah, mystical part, is not really to learn it academically, but try to live it practically. And that is exactly the opposite of what we do nowadays. That's why when we look at people, again, we see many times empty faces. Empty faces because their neshama is disconnected. Therefore, every person needs to be able to find, first of all, the lights within himself. And if you can't find the light within yourself, I'll give you a small exercise. Try to find the light and the good and the beauty in everyone who is in front of you. Once you're going to get used to find the good, find the positive, find the lights in somebody else, slowly you'll be able to find the lights within yourself as well. Why? As much as it's easier for us to always criticize someone else, and it's very hard to criticize ourselves, sometimes if you'll be able to point it out to people, and somebody will tell you, En ha'adam posel ela bemumo, you only blemish others with what you see is wrong. And most likely what you see wrong is what you see wrong within yourself. Just did not have the courage. Once you realize that, you could reverse it and not turn it into a positive thing. Start looking for the good in people. Start welcome people, anyone. If it's the post person, the mail lady that comes in, or it's a person that you find in the street, or your UPS guy, or the guy, any of those people that usually nobody likes, even the guy who gives tickets, right? The walks in the street and gives it. Of course, if he didn't give you a ticket, right? Go to him, say, good morning, how are you? Start doing it even from a selfish and for yourself. Slowly, not only you would make this world a better place, you make yourself into a better person as well. And I wish on all of us, Bezrat Hashem will become all better people in a better place.